Guys, good evening and welcome back to my tutorial. So in this tutorial I will show you how to draft a simple trouser that has a slit in front, just like this. So if this video sounds like what you want to learn, kindly watch to the very end so you will learn how to create these lovely slits at the center part of your trouser, right? So this is the processes I will show you in this video. So let's get down to the main drafting proper. All right, so in this video I want to show us how to draft, or rather how to create a trouser that has slits in front. So I am not going to take you through the processes of drafting a regular trouser, so you should have watched it on my previous videos, and which I will also leave the link to that on this somewhere around this video. So, and make sure that when you are drafting such trousers, the best fabric to use is Jonkoso, right? But then this is a demo illustration. This is not a real measurement or a real fabric. I am using a real cost client fabric, but I will use it to teach you how to draft your trouser. So when you go ahead and mark out your baselines on your fabric, you connect the lines as shown, and then you impute the length of trouser. So we are going to just use 30 for this particular illustration, but make sure that when you are drafting your own, you are using the real customer's measurements, right? Now there's nothing different in this. Now the only thing I will tell you is that any trouser that has slits in front is a bit longer than the regular corporate trouser value. So while taking the measurements, make it to be a bit longer, like extra 2 inches or 3 inches, and then you go ahead and get your crotch, right? So which I have taught us severally on how to get the crotch of a client. Then get your knee point, so which I have also shown us how to get the knee point. So make do to watch some of my videos on English trouser drafting. You will understand how to get the crotch, the knee, and everything. The main focus of this video is to show you how to get your middle slit on your outfit. So here you mark your hip measurements divided by 4 plus extra 2 inches, right? And then you get the center line, get the gradient line, and then mark it all along these trouser points. Mark it all along this trouser points. So when you've gotten to this stage, you connect the lines with either a disjointed line or with a straight line. So whichever one you want to do, you go ahead and do it. Then you mark your knee measurement this way. So I'm just using a normal measurement to do this. Now also bear in mind that such trousers that do have slits at the middle usually comes with a bogus ankle. Like the ankle is not a regular ankle. The ankle most times goes in line with the knee measurement on a free fit or on a loose fit drafting, right? So you draft it out just like this, and then connect your lines in this form. Now, like I said, the reason I'm trying to use this material to show you is because of the question someone asked me on my previous video I just uploaded on how to make the side slits. Then someone asked me as well, how can he or she make the center slit opening? So I'm just trying to teach or show you how you can do just that. So when you have gotten the trouser drafting in this form, right, you've gotten all through this way, and then from here you connect in this form as well. If it's a belt trouser, you do your normal slitting, which we normally do, and then connect it as well in this form. So this is a demo trouser, right? It's not a real client's measurement, but you can still enter a small boy of 6 years or thereabouts, get the pocket points and everything. Then you cut it out. So then one thing I need you to understand in this trouser first, before we go ahead to cut it out, is that the length of your client will not be the real length of his regular trouser. As long as you want to have this middle slit, you must make sure that your customer's length is longer by extra 2 inches or 3 inches. So when you have known that, because if you use the real length of the customer to draft this type of trouser, you will end up having a trouser that is hanging. So such trouser that has slits are better off when they are longer, right? So you go ahead and cut out all of this in this form. So stick around, watch the very end, and don't forget to like. If you love what you're seeing, just drop a heart emoji. Give me a thumbs up on this video, right? Because it's not easy to create video by 1 a.m. in the morning. 1 a.m. It's exactly 1 a.m. in the morning. So this is the best time I find it convenient enough to create illustration videos, because during the day my place used to be noisy and I'll be busy doing other work I have, right? So now, once you have gotten this trouser drafted in this form, you and I know already that this is the midpoint of your trouser, and that line is always better off at the middle. I have shown us how to do the side slits, and this is also the middle. So if you want to do the inner leg slits, the same method I used on this side slit is what you will use on the inner leg slit, so that no one will ask me again, how can he or she do the inner leg slits? The same way we did the side slit opening illustration, which I gave 1.5 inch or 2 inches here, extended it to the length I want. It's the same method you will use to do the inner leg slit. So this video is only for the center slit, which I'm trying to explain now. So once you have cut out the front and back, the regular way you cut trouser, then you bring a fabric. The same fabric you have. Or better still, you can use white lining, right? So that it doesn't get too cotton lining rather, yeah, or even white lining. Then cut out a fabric length that is longer than the length of the slit you want to have. Note these points. I said cut out a fabric length that is longer than the length of the slits you want to have. Then, since this midpoint is where you want your slit to be, so how then do you go about it? Now remember that this is the back and this is also the back of the trouser, right? So you have to make a fold at this point. You make a fold at this point with your iron. You make a fold with your iron and get the center line. So this center line you are getting now is for emphasis sake, so that you don't make a mistake. So you make a fold, right? So you iron properly. So now I have done the fold both on the trouser and on the fabric I cut out for the slit. Now some persons might ask me, what is the measurement of this? Now let me explain to you how you will know the actual measurement you will use to get your slits. Now for example, if you want to have a slit of, let's say, 6 inches open, bear in mind that this 2 inches fold in here is not part of the length of the slit, and this 2 inches is going to go in. It's going to go in. So your 6 inches will start from wherever the 2 inches ended. So let's just use 4 inches for this demo illustration. You can do 5 or 6, 6.5 or 7, depends on how long lengthy you want it to be. So you start from that end of the folding point and then mark the length you want. So that is now that this total slit opening will cover 6 inches, 6.25, or 4 plus 2, that's 6 now, right? Because of the chalk difference. So 6 inches length. So whatever fabric you are going to use to turn up this must be longer than 6 inches. So let's say 8 inches, 7.5, 9, you get that range, so that this will also cover this edge. Then the width is not going to be too wide. So since that the slit is a slight opening, so this placket size will be around, let's just say, 2.5 inch or 3 inches in width when you want to draft it out, because you're also going to weave the both edges, right? So you can just make it to be 4. So by the time you finish weaving everything, it comes down to 3, and also the slit will also take its course. So now I have gotten my center folds, right? And this is 6 inches. So I will now open it up this way, and then this is the right side of the outfit, right? So I will just place it in this form where the right side or rather that I can still put it this way, anyhow you want to do it. Then you keep it in this form, and then remember that you have 2 inches folding. So here is 2 inches folding, 2 inches folding, right? And then plus your 6 inches, that's four, that's six, right? So here you mark 6 inches. So you are now going to make a slight slit at the midpoint here. So if your hand is not straight, you can use your chalk to cut it out. Now, some persons will like their slits to have like a V-like shape where it's going, the tip will be a bit wider than the up. While some would like to have a straight cut at the center so that it flares up or it opens up on its own. So whichever you want to do is still very much okay. So you are going to use your machine to create this slit opening. So let's go to the machine and create this. I will also show you how it's being done as well. Now, please note, I am using gold color of thread so that you can see the extent of the sewing, a contrasting color so that you will see what I'm sewing, right? I could have used the same fabric color. So don't use another color when you are making for a real client. So this is for illustration purposes. Then here, you make sure you stitch very close to the ankle or to the calf, right? So place this way. Now, there's a trick you might decide to use here so that everything you're doing will, lap properly. I'll also show you as well. So here I will recommend you bring hemming gum, right? Just place hemming gum on that line. Now, the essence of this hemming gum is to help secure the edges of this particular stuff that you want to stitch right now. So just carefully arrange it this way. Though the hemming gum is optional though, but it will give you an edge or give you a neater effect. So bring hemming gum and then you gently start the stitching process. So you sew from here. Stitch from here. Now, the reason I am using the color, like I told you guys, is to make sure you see the line I have sewn so far. So you now move like 1, 2, the machine needle movement. Then you also stitch it down. You sew it down. Sew it down to the very end. So this is what you have. You cut your threads. Now look at the extent of the sewing. Look at the gap, the width. So that's the sense of using this color so that you see the wideness of the stitching space, right? So let's go to the machine, the table. So now we have sewn it. Then the next you will do is to slit it. So while slitting, it's advisable that you slit from where you will be seeing the thread very well at the back. Then you carefully slit the midpoint. Carefully slit it very well. Make sure your hand is at the center. Please don't cut going towards any thread part. Then give a notch here. Give a notch here. Give a notch here. So now you have, notched it this way. Now you are now going to push in the fabric inside. This fabric now, watch. You will just tuck it in, like drag it inside. So you have created the space or the hole you want. So the essence of the hemming gum, like I added here, is to help secure this tip to lap properly, right? So let's iron. So let me just bring this as tablecloth. Sorry about that. So this is a demo fabric, right? So I just want to use this to illustrate to you or show you what I meant. Let me use steam iron to do this so that it will be better off. So let's use steam iron. Steam iron will give us a better result. That's why sewing accessories or sewing tools are essential for every fashion designer. So when you now turn it over this way, you make sure that the fabric at the back is not showing in front. So you carefully you iron. You iron with your steam iron. You iron with your steam iron. So make sure that you lap it properly where the back panel, the back fabric you used to turn up will not be visible. So you iron properly. You iron properly. Now, these edges of this stuff will be weaved, or better still, you can still fold, but weaving will give you better finishing, right? And make sure you don't thread it. Like on no account should you sew on it. Like you don't need to sew it on the fabric. You just need to weave and hem. You weave and do what? Hem. So all of these things will be prepared, will be finished properly, just like this. So you weave every edge. Weaving is better off. You weave and add hemming gum around it, right? So once you are done, this is what you will have. You have created a space, a hole at the center pits of your trouser. So you iron properly. Then this is done. Please note importantly, this is done even before you start folding the hem or the leg of your trouser. This is done even before folding the hem. You can now, after sewing, you now go ahead and fold your hem to the desired width or the length you want. So you now fold the trouser hem to that 2 inches. And this is also done before you start sewing, so that you will know actually what you are doing. So this is done before you start sewing. So this is how you go about creating the space at the front leg of your trouser. So if you derive value from this video, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to my channel. So this is how it is, right? Like I said, the inner part will be properly weaved and the hemming will be applied, then you gum it. It could be 1 inch fabric left or 1.5, however. So the length can be reduced, like the length of this stuff here can be reduced to like 1.5 inch here in a real sewing situation, or even 2 inches from the end of the slits. Then this is the process you undergo to create this hole on the front piece of your trouser. Thanks for watching, guys.